Good morning from Gorham, New Hampshire. Here at the roadway and all packed up and ready to go. Everything's dried out, everything's laundered. Even got my tent rolled and put back the right way. If you noticed on the last couple of days of videos, it was hanging out probably about 7 or 8 inches, just kind of bent over, being held on by the strap. I did not roll that one very good for some reason. It's rolled good now, nice and tight and short so it doesn't hang out. Just waiting on a shuttle now. Unfortunately, I've had some trouble finding shuttle drivers that could get me back to Pinkham Notch for a reasonable rate. 40 and 50 bucks for an 11-mile road ride that isn't that bad for a ride at all. State route, I believe. I think 16. So kind of stinks that people want to charge 40 and 50 bucks for an 11-mile ride, which I am not paying. So there's a shuttle bus that comes through, which means I'm getting a way too late a start today, but it is what it is. Can't do much about it unless I can get a hitch or something from in town. So I'll probably go down where the shuttle comes and see if I can wait to see, if wait that out to see if there's maybe get a ride with someone. If not, then I'll wait for the shuttle. That's only 20 bucks at least. So that's the plan. But again, back climbing up those Wildcats as soon as I get back into Pinkham Notch, and it's going to be a fun day. Nice and sunny out right now. Should be nice up top. Let's do it. Beautiful memorial here. Good job, Gorham. Town hall over there. Mountains in the distance. That's, I believe that's where kind of the area where I came from, getting here. And over here, well, I'll show you this one more time. This is the information booth where I get picked up with the shuttle. Like moose tours and such like that they have here. It's a really beautiful area. And I don't know if I could get a good view of it. Maybe beyond these trees. All right. Kind of hidden behind these trees here and such, but I think that's the Carter's range. And then here, you can't see right now, but over there is the Wildcat range, which is next, and then comes the Carter's. Wildcats are supposed to be pretty sketchy at times, so kind of looking forward to it, kind of nervous. Especially since I'm getting started so late. But it's quite windy too. Down below, I don't know if it will be up there, but normally it will be up top if it is below. Right here's the information booth. That's where the shuttle comes and gets me. See y'all on the trail. It's go time. You can't get much more of a clear day than this. Everything I couldn't see yesterday, I'm seeing now. But I'm walking away from it. Walking up to the Wildcats. Yeah. The next ridge, and I'm going to be able to see Washington, Monroe, and Madison, and everything in between and in front of. I seen it all on the drive here from Gorham to here in the shuttle bus. It was pretty cool to see it as crystal clear as I could. I mean, it is like dry in the sky and hardly any clouds. Man, oh man, that was beautiful. And that's not too bad either. This here is a pond called Lost Pond. I guess I found it. Rocks are still a little slippery, even though there's no rain today. Definitely got a lot of rain. Still a little slippery. Might not need this pole today. After the Lost Pond, which I found, I don't know, a couple tenths of a mile after that, it turns, the AT does, sharp left, and you start climbing Wildcat. This next section here, I think it's about 3/10 or 4/10 of a mile. All kinds of opinions and comments. It's hard to follow the trail. You end up on cliffs, which is somewhat scary or sketchy. And if you go the wrong trail, you end up 500 feet below where you should be, or potentially just, you gotta love these comments. Hopefully none of that happens. Hopefully I'm paying enough attention, but it's also supposed to be one of the steepest sections of the AT. So I just turned a corner and I came here to this. So far it looks like it might be keeping that truth. It looks like it's gonna be pretty steep, but here we go. I can't wait. Let's see what's at the top of this first cliff, climbing Wildcat. Goes up here. You can see a blaze at least. Seems to be marked pretty good so far. It's a little steep, but really nothing more than what it has been throughout the Whites and even New Hampshire and Vermont at times. Just getting you straight up the mountain. It's pretty steep right here. Nothing dangerous though. Ugh. Just big, huge steps. Everything seems to have a foothold so far. Doesn't mean it will continue to be that way, but for now, you can find footholds. Plenty of blazes to follow. Definitely getting the calves a little bit of a workout. All right, see you at the cliff. Ooh, doggy. Beautiful. There was the spot. About halfway up that 30 or 40 foot rock, there was no footholds. That was not fun. A little too much vertical for what I like, but I made it. And then these views over here are pretty spectacular. Whew. Okay, I'm at the top of this first cliff. Caught my breath a little bit. My knees stopped shaking. It was a little scary there for a second. A very short second, or a couple seconds. Just to know where to put your foot. I'm not a big, huge vertical lover. I love being up high. I just don't love climbing straight up rock. Like rock climbing is not my thing. But these views just might be worth it. Check this out. Put my pole down. Right down there is Pinkham Notch. Right up there is Mount Washington. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful views. What a clear, beautiful. So whether that was the steepest part on trail, that I do not know, obviously, because I haven't done the whole trail yet. I still have 300 more to go, or 300 plus to go. I can say it was about 400 feet and a quarter of a mile. The part about it is it wasn't climbing the whole time at that rate. It was just a couple sections that was straight up that gave it that, and so forth. And probably that last cliff was what gave most of that elevation during that time, or steepness, I should say. It wasn't a lot of elevation. That last part of the cliff there was probably only about 50 feet, but it was just going like straight up a wall. So it was fun and a little scary at times. Not too scary, just enough to make the legs twitch a little bit. And a third set of cliffs, climbing the first Wildcat summit from a different view, different angle, different direction. Absolutely stunning. Just came up that. Not a lot of footholds, but enough. This mountain is a steep little booger. Most of it okay, some of it a little sketchy. Beautiful Mount Washington there in the distance again. Just came up this rock face, straight up, but to another wide open view. Gorgeous. 100 feet of elevation away from the first Wildcat summit. Wildcat D, as in dog. See what I did there? Cat, dog. Okay, wasn't that funny? And then it's all downhill. Not. I haven't checked yet to see what the difference is of elevation between all the summits here in the Wildcat range. But I'm thinking it's going to keep going up until it starts going down. And that's what I got to say about that. All right, see you at the top. Well, there's a gondola. That would have been a much easier way to get up here. I was just standing on the Wildcat D summit, the first summit of the Wildcat range going northbound. There were people up on that little wooden platform eating and talking, and I didn't want to interrupt them, and wasn't exactly the most polite people, as they would not barely move as they sprawled out on the stairs to even get on top of the platform. So it is what it is. Not everybody's nice, I guess. But Wildcat D Mountain and the summit is in the bag. Dropped down about 300 or 400 feet from Wildcat D. And I think most of that descent is done. I think there might be another 50 or so still to go. And then it ascends about 700 feet in about a mile and a half to Wildcat Summit. And then it starts to descend into the Carters, I believe. I think that's the last summit of the Wildcats. So far, this descent is nowhere near as bad as the ascent coming up, so that's a good thing. Still wet and slippery in spots, though. Don't like slipping. And these rocks are definitely slippery. Oh, another descent here. That might be it, and then it starts going up again. Alrighty. Standing on the summit of Wildcat Mountain. Little spur trail to the view over here. Looked like the actual summit is all socked in, but this is at the same elevation here as well. Right there is the little spur trail. Very muddy too. Got wet for the first time today there. Absolutely stunning views, just like the whole hike up, both Wildcat D and Wildcat Mountain. Absolutely stunning. And Wildcat Mountain is in the bag. Nice little pond with the mountains. Look at those views. That's awesome. Right up here is Wildcat, where I just came down. beautiful pond too. A lot of green, seaweed and lily pads and such. Wow, that is just awesome with those clouds right there. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Been climbing up this ascent, a little bit steep, but the good news is where I'm at right now, I only have to climb up that a lot more times. Climbing up Carter right now, Carter Dome, I believe it's called, the first of the Carter Range, and it is steep. So far, it's just rock steps in different directions, so a lot of light scrambling, just got to find the right rock. Nothing sketchy or cliffs or wet rock faces or anything like that. So probably going to try to camp on the other side of that summit. I'll see, but I'm getting tired and hungry, ready to stop for the day. Just a couple tenths of a mile from the summit of Carter Dome. This type of trail continues. It's been really steep at times, but for the most part, walkable. Not really having to have the 3 or 4 points of contact or scrambles. That was the case on Wildcat. So in that aspect, it's better. It's still a good workout though. I think it was about 1,800 feet in 2 miles. Getting close to the top though. See all up there? Well, this trail went nowhere. There's supposed to be an opening where you can see the views. You see a little bit right there, but not much. But this whole thing here is the summit of Carter Dome, and it's supposed to be mostly wooded now. There used to be a fire tower up here, but I don't know. See if there's more over here. Standing on the summit of Carter Dome, the highest peak in the Carter Range at 4,800 feet. I don't see any views up here yet. Might be some views as I continue on, but I wanted to call this out from the summit just in case that starts to go down. And the third summit of the day, probably the easiest climb of all of them as far as the terrain, not necessarily the elevation. Carter Dome is in the bag. There's the views on the north side of the summit. Beautiful, gorgeous when those dark clouds are above the mountaintops. This is the Carter and Mariah range here that I'm looking at down there. I think there's 3 other summits in the Carter range. It's absolutely beautiful. My campsite for the night, right next to a little tiny creek, a little water flow there, a little bit of a drip over in that area that I can fill up the bags quite easily with. Besides that, it's really just puddles. But it's a nice little spot in between the trees, close to the trail. A little stealth spot for the night. If you're wondering why the tent looks a little bigger, it is the 2-person version of what I normally use, the SL1. This wrinkle's bothering me. There we go. And it's still there. Oh, well, I'll be inside. But I usually use the SL1 quarter dome. And when I was on the Foothills Trail, when I got all that water in the tent, I realized that I had a hole in the fly as well. and versus changing that out and fixing it up. I don't know why I said changing it out, but fixing it up, I just decided to bring out the SL2. Gives me a little bit more room inside, only weighs another 6 ounces more. But it's not really big enough for 2 people, but it is big enough for my bed and about 6 or 8 inches more to the side, which I'm not going to complain about at all. But it's a really nice little section here, about 4,000 feet up. Have the South Carter, Middle Carter, and North Carter mountains in the morning to summit next. And then I believe the Carter Range is done. Then it might be Mount Moriah in there after that. And it's actually the Carter-Moriah Range, so it is considered to be part of the same thing. But anyway, gonna get some food, blow up my air pad, get ready to get some good rest. It's really nice and peaceful here, hopefully. I do hear some kids in the background, so I don't know if they're camping close by or if they're just passing through, but hopefully I won't be hearing that all night. Gonna eat some food, get in the tent. Low mileage today, but I started really late. It was almost 11 by the time I got on the trail. So that's, I don't know, another 4 or 5 hours more than, or less than what I would have normally got. So if you had another 4 or 5 hours there, it would have put me right at 20 with the pace I had. It felt like I was going slow today. I was going a little slower than usual, but I still would have got my 20 if I would have started on time. Can't do much about the shuttle though. I will definitely say the Wildcat is steep and slows you down, but it was fun, except for that one little spot. It was fun too, just a little sketchy, and had my legs a little nervous because it was a pretty good fall if I slid down it, but it worked out really well. Great mountains today, great climbs, a lot of fun, perfect weather, like 50s, mid 50s or so. It's going to be more of the same tomorrow, and looking forward to it. See y'all in the morning. Live life.